Iskcon Beauty Founder Acharya Divine Grace Prabhupada ki Jai Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivrajaka Acharya Ashtotter Sata Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur Prabhupada ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Namacharya Sri Haridas Thakur ki Prem se kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivas Adi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki Sri Radha Krishna ko Gopinath Shyam Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan ki Braj mein Vrindavan Dham ki Purushottam Gata Sri Jagannath Puri Dham ki Sri Navadip Mayapur Dham ki Sri Harinam Sankirtan ki Sri Prabhupada Transcendental Bhakti Distribution ki Samaveta Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki Sri Prabhupada Leelamrita ki Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki Nitai Gaur Premanande. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories of the Sri Guru and Gauranga, all glories to Sri Prabhupada. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayyam Dadati Sha Padantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Juta Padakamalam Sri Gurung Vaishnavansya Sri Rupang Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanitang Tang Sajivam Sadaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Visakhanitangscha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatta Deshatarine Vancha Kalpatarupasya Kripa Sindhu Bhaevacha पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो महावदन्नाय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरतिष्ठे नमः। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंध जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। So, reading from Srila Prabhupada Lilamrita, because on every Ekadasi here Lilamrita is discussed. As Gaur Purnima is approaching, so along with Lilamrita, we will also discuss Chaitanya Charitamrita. Okay. Srila Prabhupada Lilamrita and Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. So first we will read from Prabhupada Lilamrita. But one day, while sitting in the garden with Tamal Krishna, Sarup Damodar and others, Srila Prabhupada became very disturbed when he detected a mistake in one of his already printed books. Tamal Krishna was reading aloud a verse from the first canto which began, Munaya Sadhu Prishtaham. Srila Prabhupada had him read the synonyms. Tamal Krishna read, Munaya, O sages, Sadhu, this is relevant. Prishtha, questioned. Sadhu, asked Srila Prabhupada. Thus he uncovered a thoughtless mistake made by the Sanskrit editors. Sadhu means devotee, not this is relevant. Srila Prabhupada became very angry and denounced the rascal Sanskrit scholars. A little learning, he said, is dangerous. Immediately, they think they have become a big scholar, thinking, I shall arrange. And then they write all nonsense. He continued speaking about the mistake for half an hour. He was disturbed. He ordered Tamal Krishna to write at once to the BBT and stop these speculations by his disciples, changing his books in the name of editing. The devotees were startled to see Prabhupada so angry. He was supposed to be peacefully releasing a Srimad Bhagavatam reading here in his garden. Such a change was very serious, he said, because it changed the meaning. Even if the authorized acharyas would make a mistake, he said, it would not be changed. This is Asra Prayoga. In this way, the acharyas are honored. By Srila Prabhupada's strong reaction to this one printed mistake, he was again stressing the great importance of his books. Whatever I have wanted to say, he explained, I have said in my books. If I leave, I'll say something little more. If you want to know me, read my books. Srila Prabhupada ki. So Srila Prabhupada said, book distribution is very, very important. He also said that books are the basis. All of you know very well in this temple. So he also said, if all my temples are closed, if book distribution continues, my movement will continue. He also said that Iskcon is my body and Vibhuti is my heart. And Iskcon money is my blood. So it's a big connection. If book distribution stops, Prabhupada said, my movement will stop. If temples are closed, movement will continue. If book distribution continues. So there is a science behind that. Prabhupada did not speak this out of some special emphasis on book distribution. It is there, but there is a science behind that. What is the science? Science is that Prabhupada said Vibhuti is my heart and Iskcon money is my blood. If heart beat is stopped, what will happen to the body? Body will function. So if book distribution stops, then no money will go to Vibhuti. Right? Then there will not be any blood in the heart. Because Iskcon money goes to Vibhuti means the heart will have some blood, because Iskcon money is the blood. So if there is no blood, what will happen? The heart will stop functioning. So in that way, movement will be collapsed. That is the science. So if you want to keep this movement alive, then book distribution has to be alive. Because Prabhupada says that books are very, very important. Very, very important. And Prabhupada said, I have given everything in my books. I live forever in my books. Whatever I have to say, I have already said in my books. Everything he has said. So books are the basis. Our movement is built by books, not by buildings. Buildings are needed to distribute books. But if buildings are not used for that, what use of that building? Is there any use? No use. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada used to say, if a building is used how to stay there, then better to sell the marble of these buildings and print books. Because temples are needed to preach Krishna consciousness. Preaching is the essence. Books are the basis. Preaching is the essence. Then who can preach? Books are there. Instruction of preaching is there. Who can preach? Purity is the force. Purity has to be there, not the scholarship. Scholarship also needed. Books are needed. But if there is no purity, preaching will not happen. By our scholarship, by our books, by our building, by our money, if we think that preaching will go on, that is a great mistake in our understanding. Purity is the force. So when Abhaycharan De met His Divine Grace, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada at Ulta Janga Junction Road, just now we had the opening. So Abhaycharan De was instructed by His Divine Grace, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, to preach the message of Lord Chaitanya all over the world in English-speaking language. That was the instruction. Spreading the message all over the world, especially outside of India, in English-speaking language. So, Prabhupada, Abhaycharan De that time, was giving a very nice argument to Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, because that time India was under British rule. And Abhaycharan, they gave an argument that how the message of India will be taken seriously now, because India is under British rule. So it is the first duty to make India independent. Then message of Lord Chaitanya can be spread all over the world, outside the boundaries of India. So, logic was good or bad? Very good logic, wonderful logic, super logic. But Abhay Charan De was dealing with some special personality. And His Divine Grace, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada told him that the spreading of Krishna consciousness cannot wait for any political situation to change. Anyway, political situation is always temporary. But the principles of Krishna consciousness are eternal. So therefore, spreading the message of Lord Chaitanya cannot wait for the independence of India. It's so urgent. So what is the symptom of preaching? Spirit? Oh, I'll do later on. That is not the mood. Urgency. Giving Krishna consciousness in the mood of urgency is a symptom of compassion. And Mahaprabhu had that compassion. Preaching happens, real preaching happens, when heart is filled with compassion. And that is our movement. Passion and compassion. This world is the world of passion. And spiritual world is the world of compassion. How passion will become compassion? That is our journey. When passion reduces, compassion, and passion कम हो जाता है, तो compassion आता है. So that is the connection. So how to bring passion down? Nityam Bhagavata Seva. You have to serve Bhagavatam regularly. Nityam. Nityam means what? Every day, at least every day, every moment, all the time. Kirtaniya Sadahari. Nityam Bhagavata Seva. It should be Nitya. Always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. That continuity is the foundational principle. That is known as Sthayi Bhav. If that mood is there, then we can experience Krishna consciousness. If there is break, then you cannot experience real Krishna consciousness. It's not a session, morning session, evening session, in between lunch break, breakfast break. Then real Krishna consciousness cannot be experienced. And whole Srimad Bhagavatam is based on that principle. When Parikshit Maharaj was hearing and Sukadeva Goswami was speaking, there was no break. Continuous. As soon as people hear that, then is there any hope for us? Yes, hope has to be there. Utsahat, Nisyayat, Dharjat, hope has to be there. But only having hope is not enough. Hope has to be accompanied by our sincere endeavor. Sincerity attracts the mercy. We always talk about mercy because bhakti is predominantly based on the principle of mercy. But how to get mercy? Someone gets, someone does not get, then there will be complaint against Krishna also. You are very partial. You are favoring some devotee, not favoring other devotee. So this problem will be there. And Krishna is very intelligent. He doesn't want to take the blame. So sincerity means, one of the meaning, there can be many ways of describing sincerity. Sincerity means giving 100% to Krishna. That is the meaning of sincerity. Simple language. So question is how to give 100%. That is the sadhana bhakti. Meaning of sadhana is how we can give 100% to Krishna. Then that sadhana will give bhava and prema. That is very, very important principle. So here, Prabhupada is talking about distributing the message of Lord Chaitanya. So Mahaprabhu expected that his message should spread all over the world, in every town and village. Right? পৃথিবীতে আছে যত নগরাদি গ্রাম সর্বত্র প্রচারিত হইবে মোর নাম. In every town and village all over the world. So Mahaprabhu established Sankirtan movement all over India. He could have done all over the world. Right? Why he did not do that? Because that time there was no flight. How he can walk all over the world? That was the reason. The reason is the Lord always wants to give the credit to his devotees. That is the beauty of Krishna. And that is the beauty of the spiritual world. This world is the world of taking credit. And spiritual world is the world of giving credit. This whole paradigm shift. That's why material world is a perverted reflection of the spiritual world. So we also, in our heart, always want to take the credit. Right or wrong? As long as we are influenced by mode of material nature. We have to be honest. If something good happens, my mind or our mind always says, this is because of my endeavor. Right or wrong? But when Srila Prabhupada was told that you have done wonderful service spreading the message of Lord Chaitanya all over the world, actually did that. But what he said, I never did anything. It was all done because of the hard work of my American boys and girls who have been sent by my Guru Maharaj. And everything has happened because of the mercy of my spiritual master. So he gave all the credit to his superiors and to his disciples. That is the mood. And that is the natural mood of a pure devotee. That is the mood of the spiritual personalities, which is very difficult to have in this material world. And that's why so much fight. And Kali Yuga is a special Yuga to take credit. Because everybody is right. And that's why everything is wrong. That is the problem. If we are to establish right, what will happen? Fight. Right leads to fight. And that is the Kali Yuga symptom. Everybody is right. But what is the spiritual world? Spiritual world is not the fight for right. Spiritual world is the world of performing their duty out of love. Duty in a detached way brings the spiritual beauty. So someone is beautiful when someone is performing his duty without the expectation of his right. That is a fundamental principle. And we have to cultivate that. It's not that easy. Because since time immemorial, we have been functioning on some different principle, material principle. So now we have to change that principle. So preaching can happen, real preaching can happen when we establish our life based on this principle. Principle of compassion, not principle of passion. But we enter into this movement, we enter into spiritual life, we enter into devotional service, but still we have passion. Rajasic bhakti. Because Shuddha bhakti can be also Sattvic, Rajasic, Tamasic and Nirguna. According to Kapil Muni, talking to Mata Devavati, right? And Jiva Goswami also quotes in Bhakti Sandarbha. Someone is chanting the holy name of the Lord should not think that he is a pure devotee. But we have a tendency to think like that. So he is chanting the holy name is pure. But holy name is pure, process is pure, but practitioner is not pure. Both have to be pure. Anna vilasita sunyam jnana karmadi anavritam. Anna vilasita sunyam means the consciousness of the practitioner has to be pure. Jnana karmadi anavritam means the process has to be pure. Avideya and prayojan, when both are pure, that is the platform of Shuddha Bhakti. It's not only process is pure, then I am a Shuddha Bhakta, no. I may not be pure, but my intention has to be pure. Two levels of Shuddha Bhakta. When intentions are pure, they are also Shuddha Bhakta, and when he is completely pure, he is also Shuddha Bhakta. But intention has to be pure at the level of sadhana and at the level of sadhya. Intention has to be pure. What is the intention? Anna vilasita sunyam. Only one desire to please Krishna. That is the platform of Uttama Bhakti. If there is any other desire, then that person is disqualified to enter into Shuddha Bhakti or Uttama Bhakti. Sometimes people think, oh, we are doing sadhana, means we can be impure. Anna vilasita sunyam means Uttama Bhakti means Bhava Bhakti, Prema Bhakti. It's a wrong conception. Sadhana Bhakti is also Uttama Bhakti, Bhava Bhakti is also Uttama Bhakti, Prema Bhakti is also Uttama Bhakti. Because whole Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu deals with Uttama Bhakti only. Sometimes, oh, we are having sadhana, we have so many desires. So one day, that day will never come. We have to understand that when we do sadhana, sadhana bhakti theke hoy rati rudaya. Sadhana means uttama bhakti sadhana. Sadhana of uttama bhakti. Not sadhana of karma mishra bhakti, sadhana of jnana mishra bhakti, no. Sadhana of Shuddha Bhakti, sadhana of Uttama Bhakti. When someone performs sadhana of Uttama Bhakti, that sadhana will lead to Bhava Bhakti and Prema Bhakti. But if someone is having Karma Mishra Bhakti, Jnana Mishra Bhakti, Karma Mishra Jnana Bhakti Mishra Karma, Bhakti Mishra Jnana, all this mixture will not lead us to Bhava Bhakti. That will lead us to some other destination. So intention is very, very important. Desire to please Krishna. And how that desire can be translated practically? Desire to please the previous acharyas. Desire to please the Vaishnavas. Desire to please the spiritual master. That is a pure desire. And Srila Prabhupada did everything to please his spiritual master. He did not have any other desire, oh, I will become a famous world acharya, that's why he went to America. No. He did not have any interest for that. He went to America just to please his spiritual master. That is the mood. Preaching should have that kind of mood. Why you are preaching? To please Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu expected us to preach. It's not out of passion, I want to show something, I am a great preacher, I have so many followers, I have done this, I have done that. If that mood is there, that is Rajasic Bhakti. That's not going to please the spiritual master. That's not going to please Srila Prabhupada and previous Acharya. That's not going to please Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So mood is very, very important. Intention. It's not the content, but the intent is very, very important. It's the attitude, not the aptitude, that determines the altitude of our devotional progress. So attitude is very, very important. That attitude has to be fixed first. If that attitude is wrong, then the result also will be wrong. Externally will be very, very successful, but then destination will be something else other than pure devotional service. Will be misdirected. That's why again and again Prabhupada is hammering, our acharyas are hammering, Anna vilasita sunyam, Anya vilasita sunyam. Very, very important. The purpose is to please Krishna. And compassion comes from that kind of mood. When we don't have any selfish interest. When selfish interest disappears from the heart, compassion arises in that heart. And from that, natural inclination to preach Krishna consciousness will flow. And Mahaprabhu preached on that principle. Our previous acharyas preached on that principle. His Divine Grace, Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, also preached on that principle. So this is our parampara. So in order to be the loyal servant of that parampara, we have to cultivate that mood. So Mahaprabhu preached to everyone. It is all inclusive. No one is excluded. Jare dekho tare kaho Krishna Upadesh, amar aggai guru hoya taro edes. It's not that specific audience has been preached by Mahaprabhu. No, everyone. Starting from Jagai Madai to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, to Prakashananda Saraswati, to the residents of South India, also the residents of Jharkhand forest, everybody is included. Everybody. Not only human species, non-human species are also preached to. But Prabhupada told us, please try to preach at least to the human species. While he is writing the purport on Jharkhand forest pastime. So, Mahaprabhu's weapon to preach Krishna consciousness is the holy name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. We have that faith. Somebody asked one of the god brothers of His Divine Grace, Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, that how come he became successful, but others who went were not successful? So he replied that your Prabhupada, they say Swami Maharaj, was successful because he had complete faith in the holy name. That is the secret of success. When Srila Prabhupada landed in America, he did not have anything. He did not have money, 40 rupees. Also, when he came back to India, that 40 rupees was still there. Prabhupada was very, very strict about spending money. So he did not have money, he did not have followers, he did not have any place to stay, nothing. Totally new place. But Prabhupada had three things, three valuable assets. He had Srimad Bhagavatam, he had the holy name, also he had the instruction and the mercy of his spiritual master. If anybody has these three valuable assets, then that person will be successful in the preaching mission of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. If someone has all the facilities, but if he does not have these three assets, he will be failure in spreading the message of Lord Chaitanya. Why Prabhupada, in spite of so many difficulties, in spite of not having any resources, was successful? Because of this principle. Because he had complete faith in the holy name, he had complete faith in the Srimad Bhagavatam, and he also had the complete faith in the instruction of his spiritual master. That is very, very important principle. So Mahaprabhu also preached, not because that he thought, I am the Supreme Personality of Godhead anyway, I am the Jugavatar, I am the Swayam Bhagavan, so I should preach Krishna consciousness, Jare dekho tare kaho Krishna Upadesh. No, he never did that. When he took initiation in Gaya, he was running towards Vrindavan. He was mad in ecstasy while chanting the holy name of the Lord. That is a symptom of pure chanting. When someone chants the holy name purely, he will become ecstatic in love of God. One name is enough. And Rupa Goswami is telling that what to talk about one Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Krishna, these two syllables are enough for him to experience love of God. But we think, what's going on? We have been chanting so many rounds for so many years, things are not happening, tears are not flowing. So why it's not happening? So maybe after Mahaprabhu left, potency of the holy name also disappeared. But it's not like that. Potency is still there. Same, because it's transcendental. Nam Chintamani. Krishna Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha Purna Suddha Nitya Mukta Vinnatak Nama Namina. This is the faith. Faith in the holy name. Nam Chintamani. It is transcendental. When you say Krishna, Krishna is there. Nam Chintamani, Krishna Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha is full of rasa. Is the embodiment, he has a form, he is not formless. Purna Shuddha Nitya Mukta, it's completely pure, eternal. Abhinnattak Nama Namina. This is a very important principle. Krishna and Krishna's name is non-different. When we have that faith, then holy name, real holy name can be chanted. So Mahaprabhu, while he was chanting the holy name of the Lord, he was experiencing that ecstasy in Gaya and he was running towards Vrindavan. And that time there was a message from the sky stopping him to go to Vrindavan. So mission is more important than going to Vrindavan. Prabhupada explained that. Prabhupada left Vrindavan to establish Sankirtan movement all over the world. So staying in Vrindavan can be done, that's not discouraged. But the more important than that is to please the spiritual master. Pleasing spiritual master, pleasing the previous acharyas, pleasing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is much more important than where we stay. Anyway, wherever pure devotee stays, that's Vrindavan. By that we are not undermining the holy dham, but by that we are establishing the principle of sadhu sangha. So Mahaprabhu was stopped and he was instructed to go to Navadip and establish Sankirtan movement. Krishna sang Bhagavan, he is getting instruction, then he started the preaching mission. Then his associate, Lord Nityananda Prabhu, he is the father of Sankirtan movement. So he left Ekachakra Dham at the age of 12 and 20 years he was moving around in different parts of India. And there is no mention that Nityananda Prabhu was doing Jare Dekho Tare Kaho Krishna Upadesh. He never spoke Krishna consciousness to anyone. Why? Because he is waiting for Mahaprabhu to instruct him. So when Nityananda Prabhu started the preaching mission, when Mahaprabhu told Nityananda Prabhu and Haridas Thakur, Sana Sana Nityananda, Sana Haridas, Sarvatra Amaragga, Karaha Prakash, Pati Ghare Ghare Giya, Karo Ei Bhikkha, Bala Krishna, Bhaja Krishna, Kara Krishna, Shiksha. When Nityananda Prabhu was instructed to preach Krishna consciousness, then he started the preaching mission. So that is another principle. Preaching is very, very important. At the same time, it should be under the guidance or instruction of our spiritual authority. Otherwise, it's not going to work. Krishna Balaram came as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu. They started preaching work. When they got the instruction from their spiritual masters. That is a principle. Very, very important principle. Then preaching mission will be successful. But we have a lot of enthusiasm. That's good. At the beginning, everything is super enthusiastic. Utsahamai bhakti. And we have a desire to deliver the whole world. But charity begins at home. First we have to deliver ourselves. Bharat bhumite manusya janma hoilo jar, janma sarthak kori, karo parupakar. But we forget that. Parupakar, we are so much into parupakar at the cost of our upakar. So, in order to make others devotee, we have to become devotee ourselves first. We can give what we have. If we don't have bhakti, how we can give bhakti? So, in order to give something, if you want to give charity, there must be some account, money in the account, no? Otherwise, how you can give charity? You say, oh, I have given all the money of Reserve Bank of India in charity. You don't have that authority to give because you don't have it. So who has, he can give. That's why we have to first get to give. So that is very, very important principle. One devotee came to Prabhupada, Prabhupada, I have a brilliant idea. He said, I have a good idea to preach Krishna consciousness because getting people in the Western world is very, very difficult. Gathering is not so much common feature there. So how to preach? You need people to preach to. So he said, Prabhupada, I have a plan that I will go to the Saturday nightclub, and there a lot of people come without any advertisement. And wonderful preaching can happen there. So he asked Prabhupada, what do you think, Prabhupada, about this idea? So Prabhupada said, idea is very good, but make sure you come back. So we have to know our capacity. If we don't know our capacity, then enthusiasm will lead to something else. So that's why we have to know who we are. We should not preach based on the principle of ignorance. We should preach based on the principle of knowledge. Okay? Then Mahaprabhu told Nityananda Prabhu and Haridas Thakur to preach Krishna consciousness. Then they thought they will preach to Jagai and Madhai. Very interesting audience. And our parampara is like that. Prabhupada chose America. So Prabhupada said, I left India and chose America to preach Krishna consciousness. There are so many good people in Navadip, but they chose Jagai Madhai. Why? Because this is called preaching strategy. You have to be very strategic, otherwise your preaching will be a failure. They thought if Jagai Madhai can become devotees, then whole Navadip will become devotees, out of fear. So somebody asked Prabhupada, why you chose America? Your godbrothers went to Europe. Why you chose America? He said that I don't want to be a failure in old place. If I have to fail, better to fail in a new place, and place like America. If you fail there also, that is glorious. And if I become successful, then whole world will become Krishna conscious. That is called preaching strategy. And America, he did not choose a nice place in America. The most degraded place he chose, just like Jagai Madhai. Because the same parampara, Nityananda Prabhu's parampara. So you should not think, oh, we have to preach only to the intellectuals. That is also needed. So we need to preach to all kinds of people. And for that we need to have different kinds of strategy. Preaching to intellectuals takes time. Mahaprabhu, after taking sannyas, he preached to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, one-to-one preaching. Class preaching means you have to be one-to-one. And what you have to do? You have to just hear. Mahaprabhu heard for 7 days. Unless you are a good hearer, good listener, you cannot preach Krishna consciousness to the intellectuals. Mahaprabhu is establishing the principle. 7 days, 7 nights he heard from Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. And after 7 days and 7 nights, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was confused because there was no response from Mahaprabhu. And Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya asked that I spoke for 7 days and 7 nights, he did not respond, but I am not sure whether you have understood or not understood. So Mahaprabhu said, I understood all the verses, but I could not understand your explanation. Because your explanation was covering the meaning of the verses. What an insult to the speaker. Generally, purport is given just to make the understanding of the verse more clear, right? That's the purpose of purport, or commentary. But Mahaprabhu is telling Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya that I understood all the verses very clearly, but your explanation to these verses made the meaning of those verses very, very unclear. But Mahaprabhu heard for 7 days and 7 nights. Someone is not understanding and sitting for 1 hour is difficult. You all have the experience. But for sitting 7 days and 7 nights without having interest in that, it's austerity. So preaching is an austerity. Very much austere. But when Mahaprabhu preached to the general mass, he preached to the holy name. While he was walking on the street from Jagannath Puri to South India, how he preached. So he was very, very beautiful. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is really beautiful. And Jiva Goswami explains the beauty of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the weapon of the Sankirtan movement of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So when Mahaprabhu was walking, people were attracted on the way to South India. So some people came and became very attracted to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was chanting and dancing on the street. So when they came, Mahaprabhu encouraged them to chant Hari Hari. Mahaprabhu encouraged them to chant what? Hari Hari. Boliye Hari Hari. So when they chanted Hari Hari, Mahaprabhu became very happy. Oh, they are chanting Hari Hari. So out of a grateful heart, he embraced them. So when Mahaprabhu embraced them, all of them got love of God. Interesting. No Mangalarti, no initiation, no japa, nothing. Only one embrace of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was enough to awaken love of Godhead. That is the power of Mahaprabhu's embrace. Not only they became devotees, they went back to their own village and town. And when you develop love of Godhead, you act not little, you act abnormally. Sometimes that devotee will laugh, sometimes that devotee will cry, sometimes that devotee will run, sometimes that devotee will stand still. People will think, kuch to garbar hai. When Mahaprabhu came back to Mayapur, Navadip, after getting initiation, he was also acting abnormally. Because that is a symptom of love. In this material world also, when someone falls in love, he also acts abnormally. So love is stimuli to act abnormally. And Krishna is the highest object of love. Definitely when one falls in love with Krishna, he cannot act normally. So when they came back to their own village and town, villagers started thinking, what happened to them? They are normal before. After coming back, acting abnormally. So they encouraged them also. When the villagers came to see them, they also told them to chant Hari Hari, Hari Hari, Hari Hari, and all of them became pure devotees. The whole village became Krishna conscious. No Namatta, no Bhakti Vriksha, no other programs. One embrace of Mahaprabhu transformed the whole village into Krishna conscious village. Not only that, next village people also came to see. They also become Krishna conscious. Then whole next village became Krishna conscious. In that way, village after village, town after town, city after city, whole South India became Krishna conscious. That is the power of embrace of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So we have to have faith in that potency of the holy name. We should have the faith in the potency of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Then also, same effect can be still available today, provided we have that kind of faith. So with that, I will conclude today. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Shriman Mahaprabhu ki jai, Samaveta Bhaktavinda ki jai, Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Today is Ekadasi, so more chanting is needed. You have any question? Okay. माइक दीजिए, उनका कोई क्वेश्चन है बोल रहे हैं. माइक काम नहीं कर रहा ऊपर.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for the wonderful class. My question is that compulsion, not passion. But we see in starting we are doing teaching in the mode of passion. So how to understand that we start in get the compassion, by the compassion we can preach through the teachings.
Yeah. What's your question exactly?
Actually, that in starting we preaching passion, not compassion.
Yes. So you'll get the result also. You'll get passionate result. So if you preach on the basis of compassion, you'll get another result. Result will be there. But when you preach based on passion, it's not real preaching. It's Rajasic Bhakti. Real benefit will not be there. There will be followers, no problem, because passion will create followers. But they will not be so much, they will not go up. So effect, long-term effect will not be there. You understand? Effect will be there, definitely. So, you have other point to make, or?
How to cultivate passion to compassion?
I told, Nityam Bhagavata Seva, passion has to reduce. And transcendental passion has to manifest. That is compassion. Compassion means transcendental passion. ठीक है? और कोई? ओके, हरे कृष्णा. श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, संकीर्तन मूवमेंट की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद ट्रांसेंडेंटल बुक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन की जय, हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय, गौर प्रेमानंदे, हरि हरि बोल.